Hey everybody, this is Quasimojo, Rustin Rose, back with you on the Circle of Insanity. You are listening to The Lost Art of Rock and Roll with Electric Sister, and with us on the line, Eddie, Tad, and Nick from Electric Sister. How are you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Good.
We've got like everybody here practically. It's funny, I remember Nick when he was running around the house practically in diapers.
Wow.
I used to be the editor for his father's music magazine, The Informant, back in the day. So,
wow, man.
Yeah, he gave me my start in music. But anyhow, we're here to talk to you guys today about the debut album, The Lost Art of Rock and Roll. First, why don't you give us a little backstory on the band and how you guys all came to connect?
Oh, that'd be you, Tad.
Oh, yeah, well, let's see. I guess we've all kind of known each other just through the Bay Area music scene, and but no one ever really worked with each other. And then Jay, our guitar player, said he was going to get a band together, and I, at the time, was looking for a band, and went over to his house and sang some of the songs that he was writing, and it sounded pretty good. And then we had some other players come along. We've had a bit of a lineup change go on with us, and we called up Nick, and Nick came down, joined the band pretty quickly, and Eddie was in the band pretty quickly, and it's just kind of been snowballing for the last 2 years. It's been pretty wild, but it's all Bay Area. You know, we're all Bay Area musicians. No one's from out of town, so it's pretty cool.
You guys dropped the debut album, Lost Art of Rock and Roll, just before the holidays. How's the response been so far?
I think the response has been terrible.
You guys are lame.
I don't think we've read one bad review yet, and so I'm really stoked on that part. You know, I mean, sometimes you put records out, and some people love it, some people universally pan it, and we have nothing yet but awesome reviews so far, and I'm loving that. I think we've struck a chord with people.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah. The first review we had was from was a magazine, or internet magazine in Switzerland, Sweden, and it was the only one that was. It was the very first review we had. And it was the only one that was kind of like, I don't know how these guys are going to do as far as the mainstream, appeal for kids and stuff, but that was the only one where the guy wasn't sure what, and I think it was the lady. She wasn't sure what to make of it, so. She was it was like 6 out of 10 stars or something. It was like the one that wasn't that great.
Like, not sure how to think of it.
Well, even that's not horrible. So,
right. Yeah, right.
Well, I think part of the reason of the appeal for what you guys are doing is you guys have sort of managed to blend a melange of 70s, 80s, and even some 90s vibe into your sound. There's also a very raw, stripped-down vibe to it, and it's not overproduced. Was that a calculated thing, or just simply where the songwriting dynamic took you?
Absolutely, we wanted it to be raw, and we wanted it to be real, and just portray the live energy of the band. We didn't want to throw a bunch of production on there, something that we would have a hard time reproducing live. That's really not what we're about. We're about straight up rocking and keeping it real. 5 musicians playing their instruments, and that's what we wanted to get across on the album.
Well, how does the songwriting process work in the band? Is there a principal songwriter, or do you all sort of get involved in it?
That's it's a lot of riffs just kind of come about while we're at practice, and we just kind of jam on those as we get together, and some develop more quickly than others. Chad will come in with some hooks, and Eddie will pound out the drums, and they just kind of fall into place. Like I said, some more quickly than others. Some riffs we have that we've been jamming on for a couple of years that haven't really developed yet. But the things just kind of have to happen naturally,
We can't just bring in no one really writes a whole song and brings it in, and then that's how it's done. It's usually, it goes through so many changes that it really just takes that little bit of something to get everybody excited, and then it just goes through the big wheel, and then it turns out to what it is,
Explain to us just what the Lost Art of Rock and Roll is.
Jay and I wrote those lyrics. I mean, it really was about, besides it being the total literal what it's saying, it just seems like the vibe of being a dangerous entity is gone. Being that band that I thought was mysterious You know, people like Dio and, you know, all these Black Sabbath, all those bands are gone, or they're just so, that excitement. I guess it's really the wonder, the rock and roll fucking wonder is gone, you know, and I always used to think of it as like it's a big mystery that these guys are able to do that, and Jimmy Page and his black magic and all that. That was the most exciting thing. So those things are gone, and it was an art form back then, and there's no reason why it can't be an art form now, why it can't be a style or something now. You know, it's just it's something that is missed, you know.
And for that to be the title track and the first single, it was kind of a statement. We were trying to say something. And I think there's just a lot of bands out there right now, you know, no disrespect at all, but it seems like it seems like a lot of bands just want to sound like other bands. And what happened, you know, like what happened to rock and roll? Where did it go,
right.
You know? And there's definitely some good bands out there who I love, but it just seems like the entire sort of thing I don't know if it went away or what, but it would, you know, it'd be, and I think right now there's an absolute revival of what's going on, and you know, it's cool to be a part of it. And there's some great bands out there like Rival Sons, you know, like wow, listen to those guys. It's incredible what's going on, I think, right now.
Right. Well, I mean, that mystique has sort of gone away, and I don't know if we blame the desensitization to that, or if it's that grunge damn near killed metal and rock, or if it's just way too much technology and access to everything. What do you guys think?
Well, it's for me when I'm thinking of Electric Sister, you think of like 80s metal, or, you know, 80s metal, late 70s metal, but the thing is that 80s metal became such a hairspray, such like a joke. And like Electric Sisters, we're not funny. There's no joking going on. We're there to rock out, and that's it. There's no hairspray. There's no makeup. What we talk about is real stuff. You know, it's not about, you know, chicks and girls. All that stuff is fine and dandy. But when it gets to a point where it's exploited and makes you look like you're just kind of some nincompoop, like that's not what we're going for. We're going for a smarter, intelligent rock that represents kicking ass and, you know, going right for the throat. I mean, that's how we are. It's not supposed to be the way it's turned out to be, this like funny thing from the 80s, you know, and how much Aquanet you got, and that music was good. You listen to the old Def Leppard record, that shit was good, you know, and it wasn't so funny back then, but nowadays you look at it, it's funny, and I'd rather like to take all the humor out of it and just make it serious rock and roll. You know, that's how I look at it.
Tell us about making the video. Is this the first time you guys have collectively made a video?
Yes, yeah. A good friend of ours down in L.A., Bobby Ross, who I think was part of some other videos, and he was totally gracious enough to bring us down there, and he made a kick butt video, you know, in his studio. It was really awesome to do. It was really fun, you know. It's a fun production all day.
How long did it take you guys? Because I you know, you see these clips, they're like 3-4 minutes long, but it ends up taking like 24 to 48 hours to film the thing.
Yeah, easily. I think by the time I was done playing that song, I don't know, 50 times. I was beat down.
Yeah, it was about 50 times, you know, all day long.
Yeah, all day. It was one day, one shot, but it took all day.
But it was worth it when it was done.
You know, I had to do about 100 power slides, and by the end of it, both of my knees were all bloody and scabbed, and my jeans were all ripped up, but the shot came out good, so that's all that counts.
Right.
Well, I want to come back in a minute and talk about your next single and some influences and stuff like that. But why don't we play a song off the album right now? We've already played the title cut. Which song do you think we should play here next?
We should play the next single that's coming out next week.
All right.
Which is I Want It All. And the new video will also be coming out for this song that we've just wrapped up.
We were just talking, one of the things I was going to ask you about in the second half was about the new single and the video. So it's going to be I Want It All. Tell us a little bit about how you chose that particular song and what we can expect from this video.
Well, we think it's a great tune. The video is going to be just really off the hook. The song is about taking the world by the balls, you know. It's about what you want, fucking going for it. There's no reason. The song's about having no other reason not to do what you want to do. That's just what it's about.
What we want to, because we want it all.
Right.
Don't we all?
Right.
So when will the video for that be out? When can we look for it?
I believe the single comes out on the 1st or the 6th, one of the two. It's literally like next week. So the single comes out, then the video will come out pretty much at the same time, and I believe our new YouTube channel will also debut at the same moment.
Nice, nice. So
yeah, so we're talking a week away.
I originally thought I was going to be talking to both Jason and Nick, so the next question was sort of for them because they're your dual guitar attack, but I want to ask each of you now since I've got you here. The dual guitar riff on the debut song, the title track, sort of recalls Thin Lizzy meets Iron Maiden. Nick, who are your guitar influences?
My guitar influences, from a kid growing up, I really got into Kirk Hammett. Was my first main kind of guitar idol. His style stemmed a lot from Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix, and so naturally I kind of gravitated towards those guitar players as I got older. So that would definitely be the main three. I definitely dig Slash's vibe and his whole style. It's kind of hard not to, but I'd say those are the main influences on me.
And then Eddie, what about you as a drummer?
Oh man, back when I was younger, the person who got me into playing drums was Neil Peart. I was a Rush geek, and
right.
The more I listened to Neil Peart, the more I realized I really wanted to be a drummer. I would sit around in my bedroom with the headphones on and the record player going, and he taught me how to play drums almost. That's all I did. Eventually, I don't know. There's such a ton of drummers out there, who inspire you, to say the least. I think probably one of the bigger ones was Dave Grohl, and you can almost tell my style. It's sort of a little bit of similarity there. There's so many drummers you can't even begin to say. I love the guy from Deftones. He's amazing. That's sort of the style I've tried to bring, like real in your face and just bashing. I love that.
Right. Tad, what about you as a vocalist? When did you first get into singing, and who was it that sort of inspired you vocally?
Probably it's always kind of been Jim Morrison, maybe Ian Astbury. I think I was like James Hetfield too, for some reason. And those guys are my, I like Don Dokken. I don't know, anyone who was all the girls wanted to fuck and all the dudes wanted to be. I always liked that guy. You know what I'm saying?
That big influence is Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Right.
Badass.
Right?
Now, so let's talk about a couple of songs of the album. You've got a song on there called Echo Park, and that's a SoCal area. How did you guys come up with that one?
No, me and Jason were hanging out at a buddy of ours, Mikey's house over there, and he lived in Echo Park, and we were partying all night and just messing around, and Jay picked up the guitar. It's really guitar that kind of had a mystique to it. I actually forget what kind of guitar it was, but it was kind of a sacred instrument for Mikey, and we just kind of picked it up, and Jay started playing the song, and we just kind of started singing, and we just decided one day when we were in the studio to throw it on the record, just because it kind of meant a lot to us as we were writing it at that time, and I actually hope that song develops into something more maybe in the future.
Nice. Now, do each of you have a personal favorite off the album? I mean, I know you love them all, but
I like my personal favorite song to play is City of Night. My favorite song to listen to on the album would have to be Rock is Religion.
I was going to say the same thing. I was floored how good Rock is Religion came out. After everything was said and done, when you finally listened to the final product, and that song came out, I was like, wow, how that?
Yeah, it changes for me. I mean, right now I'm starting to really like New Mother Earth. I'm at first it's just the opening track, but now I kind of it's got a lot of pissed off in it, and I get into that. It's cool. It's got a lot of bite. I like that.
Also, Leper. I like Tad's vocals on the Leper a lot.
Yeah, that's got to be one of my top favorites also.
Yeah.
This will probably piss Tad off because his voice is really nothing like this, but every once in a while he'll phrase something, and I get this Paul Stanley sense in his voice.
Nice.
And again, it's not really the way his overall voice sounds, but every once in a while I pick up that Paul Stanley vibe in there.
I'm
What's up?
fucking livid right now. I'm so pissed. No, I'm just shit. I'm just shit.
You gotta be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me. I've heard that. I've heard that a little bit, and that doesn't. Nah, that's cool. I mean, I've heard a lot of people. Yeah, there's certain. I've heard people say. I mean, I've heard Chris Cornell. I've heard just about everybody. It seems like it's just hard for people. People want to put a label on something. It's a lot easier for people to think about it instead of being like, "Oh, this guy sounds like himself." They don't want to say that. Instead, they want it sounds like this plus that equals this. Like, no, just a dude can just sing and just be that guy. You don't have to sound like somebody else. It's okay,
Right, and when I listen to it, you have your own voice and your own style. Like I said, it was just every once in a while, because I grew up, Kiss was my band, so, when every once in a while I'd hear a phrase or an intonation, I'm like, sounds like Paul right there. But, you've definitely got your own thing going on, so.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, we used to play Deuce live. We've only done a handful of cover tunes, but we did Deuce. We've done The Trooper by Iron Maiden and a band called the Dotsons. So we only did a few cover tunes, but that Deuce song by Kiss, We Destroy It. I mean, it's just such a great tune. So,
well, nice segue there, Iron Maiden. What's up with the Iron Maiden and Van Halen tribute albums I've been hearing about?
Oh, yeah.
How those drum tracks coming along, Eddie?
They're done, and you guys have them in hand. Yeah, I just recorded the drum tracks for Drop Dead Legs for the Van Halen tribute record, and the rest of the stuff's going to come together. And that, I think, pretty much in 2 weeks, that's going to be ready to go out. And then we're doing Killers for the Iron Maiden tribute CD, and we're stoked that we're asked to do this. I mean, there's a lot of big names on those, and it's pretty cool. It's good for us.
Right.
And I'm assuming you're going to post on your website and stuff when these things are getting ready to come out.
Absolutely.
Nice. How did you pick those particular songs, or were they sort of assigned to you?
We got in kind of late to it, and a lot of the songs that we wanted had already been chosen. But I think the reason
nobody picked Killers for Iron Maiden, though, so that was awesome, right?
Yeah. I think the reason they got passed over those, they are actually pretty difficult songs to tackle. And I think a lot of the easier ones kind of got picked up real quick, so we kind of got left with the ones that everyone else was kind of afraid to tackle. So it's kind of a nice challenge for us to get in and really hash the songs out and pick them apart. Kind of brought me along as a guitar player too, to learning that Van Halen tune. Definitely.
If you guys had been in there first and gotten your pick of any of the songs, which song from each band would you have picked?
Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Hopper Teacher. Hopper Teacher would have been fun.
It was.
7 of 7 Sons.
Now,
do you guys have any current tour news for us?
LA, Hollywood in April.
Well, yeah, we're going to be doing 4 or 5 shows down in Hollywood and Los Angeles in April. I think we're talking about a West Coaster around the same time, but it's all in the works and nothing's been finalized yet.
Right.
If you know anyone that has a good deal on a van, man, let us know.
The touring's always the hardest part, isn't it? You got to get out there. You want to get out there, but it costs so much to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, the Bay Area music scene, what's it like these days? Because when I was there, it was pumping up until grunge came along and tried to kill everything, and then it just sort of kind of faded out.
I think it's making a steady comeback. It's making a steady comeback. I'm starting to see little rock bars are kind of filling up with more people, and people are kind of asking for that. And you can see little pockets start forming. I think it's going to really kind of take someone to really unite them. And I think as a band, Electric Sisters already kind of taking the lead on that.
Now, besides your own band, each of you give us a new band that you're high on right now.
I'm into this dude, Jason Isbell. He's this country singer. He's just awesome. He's my new hero. Jason Isbell. Isbell. Yeah, he's a monster player.
What about the other two of you?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, like I already threw out Rival Sons, who I think are pretty amazing. But like the band I'm really hot on right now is the Devil's Blood. Like I can't get enough of the prior record, The Time of Nevermore. I love that record so much, and even the new one's pretty good. But I love that band. They're going to be up here in April. I can't wait to go see them.
Excellent.
My girlfriend's been making me listen to Adele. A lot of Adele from my girlfriend.
All right. And before we get out of here, name 5 essential albums all rockers must own.
Oh, shit.
Led Zeppelin 1 and 2.
Metallica, Kill 'Em All, Ride Lightning, Master Puppets. I mean, yeah, those guys. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Every Motorhead record ever made.
Yeah. Appetite for Destruction, definitely one. Yeah. So many awesome ones. It's so hard to narrow it down.
Music out there, it's impossible.
Yeah, Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Dio, Holy Diver. You know, Dio, Last in Line. I mean, there's so many good. There's a catalog of power, you know, that is available these days, you know.
Yeah, I was listening to Rainbow over here this morning, and I almost have to throw that in out of the blue.
What's that?
We were listening to Rainbow over here earlier, and how awesome that one record is. I almost have to throw that in there.
Nick really likes the Grease soundtrack.
That's just wrong. Well, you guys have mentioned Rainbow and Dio a couple of times. So last question then before we get out of here. You guys are doing those 2 tribute albums. If somebody asked you to join in on a Dio tribute album, what song do you guys think you would collectively go for?
Oh, shit.
Man on Silver Mountain?
That would be good. I mean, Last in Line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about the difference between something from one of his solo records or something that he's just done sung on period. I would go for a Rainbow song, but you know, solo stuff is awesome too.
All the Fools Sail Away. That's my new jam. That's the jam. Off of Dream Evil. That's the jam.
All right, so before we get out of here, give us the websites where everybody can get the album, where they can find you guys and stay locked and loaded here on Electric Sister.
We're on all the online download sites, so Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, CD, all of those. You can get there. You can go to electricsister.com, and, of course, we're on Facebook and Reverb Nation.
Nice, and if they want the physical CD, and that's part of that mystique we were talking about a minute ago. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I used to sit there with the record album and pull out the sleeve and look at the artwork and read the lyrics and everything. I think that's part of what's gone, and people aren't even buying the physical CDs anymore. Can they get yours in physical?
We did have the record on our website. The store's been taken down to be rebuilt, and the store should be back up in the next few weeks. And you can, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you could go to our website and buy a physical copy there. But the store is being rebuilt on there.
So any final words you have to the people out there listening right now?
Check us out. Listen on the record.
Keep on rocking, baby.
Definitely buy the record, The Lost Art of Rock and Roll, Electric Sister. Buy it. Don't illegally download it. Support the artist.
$10. You can afford that. We're not overcharging people.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Nick Hernandez, Tad, and Eddie. I don't want to butcher your last names, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and hopefully we get a chance to talk with you again real soon, and I think we'll roll out of here. We'll play a little Rock is Religion.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Mojo. All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.